Oh, God. I think there might be a new career for you there.
Yeah, everything that's old is new again. Welcome to Unrelenting, Gene.
Pretty sure you're breaking copyright law by playing that, but okay.
From the Bomb Iran people, they're going to be really like, you can't do that.
Go after you.
They already broke the copyright law of the Beach Boys by saying, wait, let's take that song, Bomb Iran. Bomb Iran. It's happening. It's happening again.
Bomb Iran, but that's the original music.
Right. It's a great song. This is how you get people on board. You make a catchy little ditty about bombing Iran.
I'm pretty sure they made that using a grant from the U.S. government, which makes it very dangerous to steal their music.
I wouldn't doubt it. Just like the state of California paid for the riots. But that's okay that they were overwhelmed by. It's okay. They paid for them. It's great. It makes a lot of sense.
California was state of Walmart, apparently. You read that story, right?
Which one, about Walmart?
What the Walmart heiress, one of the kids, is the one paying for all the bricks.
Well, yeah, why wouldn't you? I mean, come on, so you could loot your own stores.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Although a lot of people in California, I guess, were caught unaware that California walked back those laws, I guess, as of like January 1st, the looting laws. And now it's a felony again. Oops. Oops. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Got to keep up with all these law changes.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's a federal felony to throw a rock at a cop car.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, this was the epitome of violence. The whole like, oh, well, it was just mostly peaceful protest. Bullshit. When they're throwing cinder blocks.
It was mostly peaceful until Trump sent in illegal soldiers,
right? At
which point people had to defend themselves.
Of course. And fucking Nancy Pelosi fucking rewriting history, and the media's letting her. Oh no, Donald Trump wouldn't send in the National Guard on January 6th.
Yeah.
Bullshit, lady.
Mm-hmm.
This has been well documented. It was offered.
Is the problem.
It's unbelievable. It really is. And you're carrying the show today, man. I had a migraine last night. I feel like I'm underwater. So, I mean, it's kind of like...
Well, I'm eating some Haagen-Dazs chocolate or coffee ice cream right now. So.
Oh, well, that should perk you up at least until the sugar crash comes about.
Mm-hmm. So it should be right after the show ends.
You're hoping it's not like a half hour before the show ends and we're both like...
Well,
yeah,
show might have to end early, boys.
Hey, Gene, what's up? I don't know, man. I ate some ice cream.
We got some big stories here. Probably the biggest is that yesterday I bought some Dr. Pepper flavored beef jerky at a gas station. Have you heard of such a thing?
I've heard of Dr. Pepper and I've heard of beef jerky. I have not heard of the combination of the two. And
there was a half dozen different flavors of Dr. Pepper for sale at this gas station. I thought Dr. Pepper flavored jerky.
I thought there was a recall of the Dr. Pepper for some reason, but I didn't hear of the beef jerky.
That might be why.
Maybe it's like, well, it accidentally got into some jerky.
Uh-huh. Maybe some jerky got into the Dr. Pepper.
It's possible. Now that seems like the least healthy food one could eat would be Dr. Pepper flavored beef jerky.
Not at all. Beef jerky is very healthy.
I'm assuming what the Dr. Pepper, though, is adding is lots of sugar to the beef jerky, or am I mistaken?
Well, yeah, you're mistaken. It's not really sugar. It's the sort of anise and other flavors.
It's natural flavoring for you.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly which of the roots are used in Dr. Pepper.
Right. No, I don't know.
But it's those things. They don't have sugar.
No, of course.
I think Diet Dr. Pepper doesn't taste all that different from Dr. Pepper.
I like Dr. Pepper. It's not a bad, refreshing drink. Haven't had one in a long time, but I haven't really had I like RC when it comes to cola. Fuck Pepsi, fuck Coke. But Dr. Pepper, I mean, there was also
I think Coke owns RC at this point.
that always sucks. But the allure of Dr. Pepper was
I have to admit, back in the early days of doing dumb things to gain weight, I drank a lot of RC.
it's addictive. So
I think there was a summer,
just one.
summer of 82.
Oh, you were trying to set the record?
I was trying to, no, I wasn't trying to set the record. Summer of 82, I spent the entire summer playing pool and eating food out of the vending machines and drinks out of the vending machines. And the drinks were a quarter, which seemed very expensive. The snacks were under 25 cents. I think they started at 10 cents. But that's the year that I really learned to play pool, because I played pool for 8 hours a day, every single day. And they had an RC machine. So I drank a lot of RC.
It was around 1982 that RC came out with the cans with various baseball players on them.
Of course, you remember that.
Well, I did, because we collected them, of course, and had them in the garage for years because, my mom didn't want them inside. Like, they're dirty cans. Like, no, rinse them out, man. Mm-hmm. Remember, I had a big thing on, like, my desk at home on the, dresser with, like, you would see people once they drink 5,000 beers and they make the pyramids. It was like, we're showing off the cans, man. That's the only way I remember baseball from the 80s. Were they on an RC can?
Wow.
That was back when the pull tabs actually came off totally. Remember those horrible days?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
People were like, what? That's dangerous. You could cut people with those things that came off.
You did cut people with those things. Cut yourself usually.
Yes, true. Just when you're trying to throw them out. Like, it's a sharp metal object that curled up just right.
Mm-hmm.
It was dangerous. It was very dangerous being a kid in the 80s, but at least we didn't have pedos coming after us on the internet,
Nope. On the internet.
We didn't have the internet.
Just in the playgrounds.
True. It was a much different time.
Mm-hmm.
It was a much different time indeed. But RC, yeah, that was always good. But Dr. Pepper, they, up until quite recently, maybe just 5-10 years ago, they still bottled a pure sugar version of that down in Texas somewhere, didn't they?
They still do.
Oh, yeah. See, that's the shit.
Buy it with cane sugar down here.
See, that's the way to get it. If you're going to drink a Dr. Pepper, if you're going to drink Coke, I always enjoyed the Mexican Coke in the bottles.
Yeah. It's not even made in Mexico.
Not anymore?
It's literally Mexican style Coke made by Coke for the U.S.
And then shipped to Mexico. And then we have tariffs coming out and in, and then in and out.
Mm-hmm.
It's all a scam.
It is a scam. Yeah. I mean, most things are made by companies that you know very well that have now bought the brands that you like because they weren't as big.
It's like, oh, we can do that for you.
Mm-hmm.
We'll make a little bit of money. We pop some taurine.
Oh, dude, I watched a video on taurine. Or, well, technically on Red Bull.
Oh, yeah, well, it gives you
Nile
wings.
Red one. Have you seen the Nile Red videos?
I have not.
Who that guy is?
No.
So Nile Red is a YouTuber chemist who basically does stuff that if you were a high school kid, you would want to be doing in chemistry.
So blowing shit up?
Things that are poisonous or explosive.
Right.
So this video I watched was, they got this idea of that, I guess he was on the trip or something, and he saw that there was Monster Squared available, which is 2 cans worth of Monster caffeine and sugar and ingredients in one can-size can.
Oh, well, that's good.
Double potency.
Of course, that's what you need.
Well, why isn't there a Red Bull 2X or 3X or 4X? And he decided to make Red Bull 100X.
In one can.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my.
And remember, this guy's a chemist.
So he's got the pure caffeine. He's got, right.
And he's got a budget. So he bought 100 cans of Red Bull. And he bought a $5,000 dehydrator.
Okay, I would have gone the other route. Like, okay, let's see how much caffeine is in here, how much taurine, then let's just buy that. But no, okay, his way is more interesting. I'll give him that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, and it's literally, it's not a traditional food dehydrator, although he has one of those as well. This is a liquid dehydrator, which uses a very interesting process for quickly dehydrating liquids. Meaning, you take the water out of the thing that's got, other things in there aside from water, and it drops all the, it sucks the water out and leaves all the food coloring and all the other ingredients.
Right, the things that were not liquid stay behind.
Yeah.
So a lot of sugar in these drinks.
He used specifically diets to not contaminate it with sugar.
Okay, well that makes more sense too. Because that would have been a lot of sugar in the.
Oh yeah, like pounds of it in the 100 cans.
So he just wanted the caffeine and the taurine and whatever other chemicals are in here. And we know taurine.
He had a few mishaps.
Oh, really? And of course, this is why people watch.
Yeah, of course. That's why those videos are the best. And but eventually, by the end, he created Red Bull 37X.
He didn't quite make it to 100X.
Didn't quite make it to 100. Started with 100 cans, but there were some mishaps. But he did make it to 37 as calculated by mass. So,
and the result of this drink from somebody drinking it would be instant death.
He tasted very good, but he drank very little of it because he'd already previously had a mishap with caffeine where he drank something that was hyper-caffeinated, thought it was fine, and then couldn't sleep for 3 days and had a heart rate of about 200.
Well, yeah, it's like you're doing cocaine, my friend.
Yeah.
Caffeine and cocaine. Exactly. There's a country song.
Plant. Exactly. So, and I'm kidding about that, kids. Obviously, I know they're not. But the if you haven't seen Nile Red, check out his videos on YouTube. They're basically for chemistry nerds, science nerds, but they're hilarious. He also did a similar thing with concentration for spiciness.
Oh,
this time around, he actually bought pure capsaicin.
Yes, which you can get in little jars with eyedroppers. And for years, it was great. You had to sign a release and all this other stuff because it's dangerous to some people.
It is, yeah. It's literally just bear spray, except meant for dilution.
Yeah, it's the part of the hot stuff that makes it hot, so there's no flavor to it. But that means you could just drop a couple. I remember getting this back in the day, and I think it was 2 pounds of chicken that we had in a big wok with, veggies. You got your broccoli and whatever else was in the, doing a little Asian inspired thing. And I put 1 drop of the pure cap in, and it was the hottest 2 pounds of chicken you've ever had. Like 1 little drop. It was like, whoa, this is serious stuff. You don't want to slip this into your buddy's chocolate ice cream.
That's exactly what you want to do.
You're like, oh, but it's good because it's fat, so it's fine. It kind of offsets the, but it comes through on the other end. Somebody posted that the other day. It's like, what kind of...
That is true. I've had plenty of hot food. Yeah.
It's like, why? What is the joke, almighty creator, on the fact that only your mouth and your ass seem to be able to tell when foods have the hot spices in them? It's like you feel it going in.
Feel it on your skin. If you put it on your skin, dude, it penetrates.
Ooh, well, that's fun too. It's like a nice acid. You don't want to touch your eyes afterwards either.
It's like oh god no. But like menthol, you can feel that on your skin, not just taste it.
True, and you can breathe it on in. It's like everything opens up. You get a nice menthol cigarette. You breathe much better. It's exactly what happens.
To your mind, yeah.
And how did you
basically I think you have to be close to skin level to feel things like heat. But it's just us, right?
You mean animals otherwise are like that's nothing? It's just
The closer the animal is to us, the more likely they are to feel it. But birds don't feel capsaicin whatsoever.
lucky.
Mammals are really the only ones that do. So, like, bear spray doesn't work on a crow. It'd be just annoyed.
I want to know if you've tried this or if there's.
No, I watched the video.
Oh, well, of course. You can either experience life or you can watch it on YouTube. It is safer to watch it on YouTube.
Hey, I create YouTube videos too, man. I do both.
True. Is one of them going to explain why you're eating coffee Haagen-Dazs at 10 a.m.?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was watching an AI Samson video the other day.
Okay.
And I think he talks way too fast. He is the Ben Shapiro, which kind of makes him sound like an AI to begin with when he talks really fast, because he's kind of got a choppy delivery.
Yeah.
But the technology is so good now between 11 Labs with the voice and the, what was it, Haze something, where you can make these avatars and do these videos. And I'm like, oh, this is what I need to start doing, because I think you can get an audience. You just start creating hot women, make videos, and people will be like, oh, I want to donate because women.
One of the guys that does really dangerous videos that I got to know, he's about our age. That's literally what he does for all his thumbnails for his videos. Is every video has some AI generated hot space chick on it,
and it works, right?
Well, I mean, it's debatable. I get more people watching me than him.
Well, that's okay, bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
But who is your audience? 80-year-old females?
Yeah, no, I have an audience of 99.95% male.
And the other ones just accidentally turned the channel on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whoa. I thought this was beauty tips.
I think the average age is 50.
But I like the ability to create content without being on camera. I mean, one, just from the fact that it takes a lot more preparation and the cameras have to be just right and it's harder to edit. So one, it would be a lot easier just to create any kind of avatar. And no matter what, it would appear that the AI stuff is here to stay. So why not jump on it?
Oh, it's definitely here to stay. It is not going anywhere, contrary to what some people would like.
And when you see like the AI Samson video, and I'm sure other people are doing the same thing, but going back and forth between this is a video of me saying this, and this is then a video of the AI avatar just using the audio and then recreating the video. It's like, it's close enough where if you're not looking at it on a big screen, if you're just there, and if you're just there to get the information, nobody's going to care. It's like everybody's going to understand. It's like,
the people that watch videos watch on their phone.
Right. And at that point, you're never going to see that it's not real. The fact that you can then gender swap out if you're looking to, titillate, because guys are idiots. Why does Fox News?
I shared years ago with you, like probably 3 years ago, I sent you a video of AI Angel. And you're like, what's this?
Oh, that was very non-realistic, right? I mean, but
it was very video gamey.
Yes.
But it's a hot chick that looks like she's from a video game, except she's, talking about shit that's not in the video game.
Right.
That's a dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a whole gender bending, nice world we're in, Gene. You could be anything you want on the internet. See, the problem was fucking idiots decided they could do that in real life too. And like, no, that doesn't work. Just do it on the internet. Catfish your friends.
And there's a video of by a very funny New Zealand comedy group that does video game videos of comedy. Years ago, they did a video about guys playing with female characters in video games. And they're like, what the hell, dude? What are you coming out as trans here? Why'd you pick a female character to play with? And the guy's like, okay, you want to know why I picked the female character? Like, all right, watch this. And then he makes his character crawl. And everybody's looking at him like, oh.
POV from behind.
All right, you're good. Yeah.
The guy's like, I have to stop the video game every 5 minutes, but otherwise.
It's literally the same reason that I have a female character in Cyberpunk. Most games I don't. Most games I do male characters with long beards. But in Cyberpunk, I always play as a female character because in that video game, your first, well, you could be technically third person, but I always play as first person. Except when you're driving, it's easier to drive when it's a third person camera, when it's outside the vehicle.
Right. Oh yeah, I hate.
And in that game, one of the vehicles, in fact, usually the best one in terms of having fun and controlling it,
nice crotch rocket,
is a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can have your character in that game wearing a variety of different clothes, including booty shorts.
Gene's like going into the closet with his AI character, like, ooh, let's go shopping.
I mean, it is a little nutty that, yeah, you're playing with dolls, right?
Right, let's accessorize.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's the world we live in.
Although
right now.
I will say, as a guy that played that female character, I take a glance at what's available and I pick something and I go. Watching a YouTube video of a girl playing that same video game with a female character, and Jesus Christ, the clothes picking and the clothes buying is like 50% of the game. It stops all the action.
And do they charge for different outfits?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that was,
you gotta pay money for them.
I remember when the first what do you call it? Second Life. I think it was right about the time Second Life came out, or maybe
I ran a casino in Second Life.
Nice. It might have been even a little before that. There was a company called Evil Bunny or 11. It was 11 something maybe, but it was
11 Labs.
Yeah, but it wasn't the one that the voice things. Now, I mean, this was
Could be.
You know what? Oh, with that, you're right. It could have morphed into.
Yeah,
but it was a virtual world that was paid for or sponsored by the Pussycat Dolls.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yes. Somebody thought that was a brilliant idea.
And I mean, this was right at the beginning of these interactive world type things where it wasn't a game. You weren't shooting anybody. It was like a chat room.
Mm-hmm.
But I was working for musical artists at the time. So I was like, well, let's check this out. Let's see.
I thought you were working for Playboy Bunnies at the time.
Those two. Those were the Playboy came slightly before. Those were first. Mm-hmm. And then the country music singers, 3 of them I did work for.
That's right. You even traveled to go look at their shows.
I went to Ireland to go see Martina McBride perform.
Because where else would you go?
Because it was Ireland, though. So, I mean, it was a good time.
Yeah, and I think your Irish experience was not that far from my Irish experience.
No, it was fun. It was
my last trip as a bachelor. I took that trip about 3 months before getting married.
And you remember, that's why you remember it so fondly, too.
6 months before getting married.
It just seemed like 3 months, but that's another story.
Yeah.
But in this game.
No, it was a blast. I had a great time. I bought awesome sweaters.
Right, you have some very good wool
that made the sweaters. It was great.
You're like, hello, what's your name?
Yep.
What sweater do you recommend? Which use your beautiful wool, big beautiful wool sweaters,
dude. The sheep are awesome out there. That's one thing. You see those little critters? They're just like little white spots all over the countryside, all over the hills and valleys and everything. And if you just glance at them, none of them are moving. They're all very stationary. And every now and then, if you keep looking, you'll see one that moves about 3 inches and then stops moving again. It's hilarious. They really are lawnmowers. They're just slow speed lawnmowers. They don't move. They don't walk around until they're done eating the grass that's in front of their face.
Yeah. And they might be on the road in front of your car, and they don't care.
They might. And if they're eating a little bit of grass that just came out of the asphalt, they're not going to move until they're done.
They're hungry.
They're very cute. I like sheep. They're cute animals. They're I don't know. I think they're pretty friendly. I've fed them, hand fed them before. They seem to be friendly.
You've never been attacked by a sheep, so there you go.
I have been attacked by a sheep, but not a sheep, a ram, and a sizable ram at that. And
he's like, get your hands off my sheep.
It was working in the mafia. It was collecting a tax.
Oh.
And I had to pay the tax because I got attacked by it. And it's the whole thing they have where one ram gets in front of your car to get you to stop. Another ram walks around behind your car so you can't back up. And the third ram comes up to the window and starts tapping on the glass with its horns. And you're like, yeah. And it's not going to leave until you feed it. So you got to feed them, and then they switch places. And the one in front of the car switches place with the one in the back of the car. And then that one comes over, you got to feed him. And then the third one comes over, you got to feed him. And then all three of them walk away from the car.
It's valid. I saw a woman get
I'm not making this shit up. This is what you experience when you go to Fossil Rim and you do a drive-through safari tour.
And I saw this on Fullerton Avenue, but it was humans who bumped the woman's car from behind. She got out. Another one walked around her car and drove away. Mm-hmm. Saw that happen on Fullerton Avenue, everybody.
I was too smart to get out of the vehicle because the Rams would totally do that.
They're going to drive off with your car. Fucker.
But yeah, they tell you right when you get there, it's like there will be some car damage. You acknowledge that you're okay with it. Otherwise, you're not going to go on the ride.
Gene's like, I got a rental, motherfucker. Woo!
I know, right?
And I bought the insurance. Thank you very much.
But and people have misconceptions about it. Like one of my favorite animals to pet out there and to feed, hand feed, is one that everyone's always super afraid of. Zebra.
Oh.
Zebras have a bad rap, man.
Yeah, they're angry horses. That's what you hear.
Yeah, they're not angry. They're not angry at all. They have the softest nose fur. I don't know what you call that, like velvet. Like the little tiny hairs on their faces are super soft. Like if you could make a rug out of that, it would be great.
They wouldn't like that.
And I guess they do, don't they? They have zebra rugs.
Probably, but that's not out of their noses usually. It's
no, fair enough. But they are super soft. The other thing that you realize when you're feeding one from like by hand and it's up close to you is they're not black. They're not black and white. They're actually brown and tan. So the white is an off-white. It's kind of a, slightly brownish white or slightly yellowish white. And the black is definitely not black because once you get them up close and you see them in sunlight, it's just a shade of brown.
The more you learn about zebras.
Yeah. I think they're some of the coolest animals. They have 3 different types of zebras out there. I need to go back there. I haven't been there in like 5 years.
Go with Uncle Elon. He'll take you.
Who?
Uncle Elon.
Uncle Elon.
He's not busy right now. He's got some extra time.
No, he's done making up with Trump, I guess.
But in this game with the Pussycat dolls, that was a big part of it, which was you could get more outfits, but you had to pay.
With real money.
Yes.
Yeah. In Cyberpunk, you just pay with the in-game money, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
And in the genius move, they also then allowed people to create. They gave you the basic files that you would need to put into Photoshop to create the clothing.
A thong.
So people could then create whatever they want. You wanted a shirt that said, fuck Iran. Well, then you could do that. I mean, they might not allow that, but
generally, the first thing that would be created are thongs.
Probably. They're the things that look like they're not there at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because all guys are like, even in a virtual world, we want our women naked.
Yeah, well, but you don't get them naked anywhere else, so you might as well get them there at least.
And it's like, You know that the female avatar is still a dude, right? I mean, we understand this, right?
Does that make it worse when you look at them, though?
No, I guess not. Not as long as you're in the virtual world. But there's like more of these stories coming out where
now Black Mirror had an episode. You remember Black Mirror, right?
BBC show. Never watched it, but I know the premise. Should I watch it?
Well worth watching. The episodes are kind of like Twilight Zone. That was the inspiration, I believe. But they're all wildly different styles of directing. So overall, I say the show is worth watching, but there are some episodes better than others.
Makes sense.
They're all sort of a dark view of sci-fi or a dark view of history. Like, take whatever your favorite futuristic movie thing is, and then like think about, well, what could happen if something goes wrong? And then that's kind of what Black Mirror is. But one of the episodes in there was a couple of buddies that used to play video games all the time when they were kids. And then they reconnect when they're adults, and like one of them's married, the other one's not, but they're in their 20s, I think, maybe late 20s or something. And they're like, oh yeah, we should play video games again for old time's sake or whatever. Except that in their future world, like everything the video games are VR, but they're like hyper VR. They're not just the way that VR is right now. You put on the glasses or you connect in and like you're
in the world,
more like the Matrix, right? Where you totally feel like you're that character and you can do anything, not just, move.
Well, that's always been the dream for the AI VR kind of thing.
Yeah. And then, the video game they're playing is basically Mortal Kombat. And the one dude's got some, Asian looking character, and the other dude has a hot looking chick character. And then, at first the one dude's like, dude, why are you playing as a chick? It's like, well, it's a video game, so it doesn't matter. Plus, looks better than the dude. And, they kind of agree on that. And then they play these games, and then you can see that, like, the how do I describe it? The situations start getting more flirty. So
like,
when they're fighting each other, and then like they've got each other, they're grappling, and you got the boobs pressing up against the.
Hey, do you want to oil up and wrestle,
dude? And it's and all of a sudden they're like looking into each other's eyes and kiss, and one of the guys just like takes his VR off immediately. He's like, "Whoa, what was that? That's be happening," and the other guy's like, yeah, that was weird, but I mean, look at her. Of course, anyone would want to bang this chick, right? Haha. So it kind of laughs it off. And then the first one is kind of like he doesn't really want to play the video game anymore. And then eventually he decides to play it again, or the other one convinces him in real life or whatever, and they play. And then each time there's less fighting and more flirtiness until finally they're fucking in the game. And then I guess the question is now, is that A, cheating, B, gay, and C, doesn't matter because it's all in a video game. They're not actually doing anything with each other, but they're definitely fucking in the video game.
Lines are crossed. Friendships destroyed.
It's kind of like, whoa.
Well, what happened? Your AI character?
Sorry, my handler just called here. I told him I'm busy.
Uh-oh.
One sec.
Moscow control. Over. Yeah, Red Rider, Moscow control. This is Boris 123. Over. Roger that. But it's weird, the whole mixing of reality and technology. And we saw the story not that long ago with some 15-year-old boy who was having conversations with an AI bot of some sort. knowing it's an AI bot, but the AI bot's like, oh, I hope we wish we could be together. Come home. And so the guy killed himself. The kid killed himself.
Right. As one does. Yeah.
And I am just very curious what percentage of humanity can actually form that kind of an emotional 100%. Connection.
100%.
I don't think it is, but I think it's
real.
more.
It's more real than people.
I mean, but here's the bizarre thing. Because I installed one of these things, I forget what it's called, something Tavern.
You did.
Yeah, well, there's one of these AIs, and then you can go feed it through other things, and then you can, there are different personalities, or you can create your own personality. So it's great. You can have a flirty personality, female. But here's the thing, once you're like, oh yeah, baby, you wanna get it on? Oh yeah, I'm on my way. Well, she's not on her way because she's not real.
Oh, she is on her way.
It's just going to take a really long time.
Well, you have to meet her halfway.
Right, which is why you have to kill yourself. It's the only thing that makes sense.
Of course.
The only thing that makes sense.
To sound a little bit dark about this, I will say this is a good thing. And hear me out.
People killing themselves is a good thing.
Yeah, it is. We are coming up with ways by which people get to do that. And the reason is we have completely eliminated nearly all risk from humanity that used to exist for literally millions of years. This was the method by which people that didn't do stupid shit outlived and outbred, had kids, people that did stupid shit. This is how our brains got better and bigger and more able to calculate things.
Right.
Is because the people that did dumb shit did not live long enough to have kids.
Survival of the fittest.
At this point, we have virtually eliminated that to where the Idiocracy, which, best movie ever made,
I thought it was a documentary.
Is literally true. It's literally true. The people that have no business reproducing are mainly the ones reproducing. And so if something takes somebody out of the gene pool due to their own decisions, I consider that a win for survival of the fittest.
I mean, there's no question about it, because I think you have to have some kind of major deficiency. Totally different if somebody's being catfished. That I understand, because you believe there's a real person on the other end. But if you start into a conversation,
but that shouldn't get you to kill yourself. That should get you to really mad at the other person for catfishing you.
Oh yeah, I'd go kill the person catfishing. That's totally where you would go.
Exactly.
But I don't understand going onto one of these services, knowing it is a chat bot and having any kind of emotional connection. Now, can you use a chat bot for information? Sure. Now, if you're an author that writes fiction, I think this could be genius if done well. I mean, if you're J.R.R. Tolkien and you have, this huge epic amount of work, and you're like, wow, what would this character do in this situation? Now, if you could actually go and have the AI look at everything that character ever did in the books, everything that character ever said in the books, and ask it a question, and it would simulate as best as possible what it thinks that character would respond.
Yes, program an AI Sherlock Holmes.
Right. I mean, this would be perfect. I mean, if you want to write the story and you're like, oh, how would you solve this?
Data already do that on Star Trek like 25 years ago?
Yeah. But it's the same kind of a concept.
35 years ago?
I know.
Oh, shit.
Data looking old is very weird with he should never age. He's Data.
No, he should never age. Well, he doesn't. Well, Brett Spiner does.
Yeah, sadly. I mean, come on, damn it, Brett. Brett, what's your health? I have a CD somewhere, man. That was hard to find.
Old gray eyes?
Something like that, yeah. It was a weird takeoff of...
all blue eyes, right? But his eyes aren't blue. They're green. Aren't they green? He's got green eyes. Old green eyes. That's what it was.
Maybe. I just know I have this
Or
CD somewhere.
Orange. God damn, I got to look this up.
See, now
Sorry,
it's like,
in the middle of the podcast, we got to check what color.
What color Brent Spiner, what the album that he came out with?
What color are data?
Dear Perplexity, dear ChatGPT, tell me the answers.
I'm just using the internet. The internet knows better.
Does it really?
They're yellow. Old yellow eyes.
Old yellow eyes, right. That's usually jaundice. Yeah. You want to go see a doctor for that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But Seth MacFarlane just came out with a Sinatra album. A bunch of old charts that they found.
Doesn't surprise me. He's an old...
he's a big Sinatra fan.
Broadway guy.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, he said he was... And I did not know this. He was...
Gay? Yeah.
Don't care. But he was accepted into musical theater school, which
Not
I guess...
that there's anything wrong with that.
No, which I guess goes along with possibly being gay. But he was accepted into musical theater school.
Mm-hmm.
And it was right before he started that he got a call to come out to LA to voice a character in some cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, if that call doesn't come and I start school, he's like, I'm probably on a whole different pathway. Mm-hmm. And you never get Family Guy, and you never. It's just interesting, these small things that happen.
Yeah,
that changed the course of history.
He was born in 1973.
Yeah, well, 1970, right here, baby.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that was the best, being born on a year that ends with 0, because then you always remember, your birthday based upon, the year.
I guess if you have a math deficiency, sure, that would make sense.
If somebody eating chocolate ice cream at 10 in the morning may have a math deficiency.
Coffee.
Because you're like,
Häagen-Dazs, not ice cream. Häagen-Dazs.
I don't have any caffeine, so I'm like, maybe there's enough in the coffee ice cream to get me going. Maybe it did. Maybe there is. Maybe there's not. Never had it for breakfast, but I guess maybe this is something I should add into the repertoire.
Mm-hmm.
The wife's like, what are you having for breakfast? Häagen-Dazs. It's when you know you're going to get your sugar tested sometime soon. The Häagen-Dazs breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Mm-mm. I mean, the coffee is the flavor to get, though, if you're going Häagen-Dazs. If anything, you want to make a espresso and then mix it in.
The only good ice cream left.
And a lot of it is just total shit. The stuff that you see where you can get 5 gallons for $3. I'm like, shit, that ain't even ice cream.
Shit. First of all, it's mostly air. It's not even real ice cream. Here's why I like and recommend the Häagen-Dazs.
But we are not sponsored by Häagen-Dazs yet.
We should be. This jar, this can, whatever you want to call it, ice cream pint thing, whatever. It's not even a pint, whatever it is.
No, it's there's the little dollar versions, and then there's
it's bigger. It's the bigger one.
Then there's a pint, and then there's a bigger the Häagen-Dazs is a little bigger than a pint.
Here's the reason. This thing has 5 ingredients. I dare you to find a product in your fridge that has less. This has cream, milk, cane sugar, egg yolks, and coffee. That's it. No preservatives, no colorings, nothing else. Just 5 ingredients. It is one of the very few products of any type, not just ice cream, but it's one of very few products you find with that few ingredients. But if you compare it to any other ice cream brand, I don't care what it is, including the more expensive ones like Godiva and shit, they all have 20, 25 ingredients.
Oh, yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah.
And most are preservatives.
Super basic.
Other chemicals you wouldn't want to be ingesting. Oh, but it's part of the ice cream.
We've talked about Frusenglasche before.
Frusenglasche?
The competitor to Häagen-Dazs.
I don't remember ever talking about Frusenglasche.
You remember Frusenglasche, don't you?
Frusenglasche?
They were the main competitor to Häagen-Dazs. And they had their notoriety was their cans, unlike the paper ones that Häagen-Dazs comes in, theirs were plastic. And they had a unique feature that was great for ice cream. They had curved edges on the bottom of the can.
I don't remember
so
this.
So that you could scoop out every last bit with a spoon without hitting an edge, which in Häagen-Dazs, you're always leaving a little bit because in that 90-degree changed between the side and the bottom, you can't get it. There's always some ice cream left in there.
Gene's like, fuck you, there's 1/10 of an ounce of ice cream in there.
Which sounds like frozen glade or something, Frusenglaze in Danish, or one of those languages. Was another, they just basically copied the formula, not the recipe, but the way that Häagen-Dazs was marketed. They just duplicated it and were quite successful.
They're like,
you don't remember it because it was very popular in the Midwest.
I do not. I do. Maybe I just wasn't eating enough ice cream.
They had white cans with color labels, but they were about the same size. They were pints or whatever they are as Häagen-Dazs, but they were plastic and they were white.
I was probably just too busy eating bomb pops from the truck that drove by up and down the street. The ice cream man.
Yeah. We were eating Schwann's back then as well. The home delivery ice cream people in the 80s. Anyway, so the funny bit about it all is that neither Frusenglaze nor Häagen-Dazs are companies from Europe that you would think they are. Because Häagen-Dazs was started in, I believe, Connecticut, and Frusenglaze was started in New York, and both companies were started by Jews.
Well, that's where the best stuff comes from.
Which I think is funny. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with that, but the fact that ice cream companies that have very on purpose North European sounding names, they were purely invented names to make you think this is some old brand European high quality product. But in fact, they were brand new. But I think Häagen-Dazs started in the late 70s, right about the time that Ben & Jerry's was, which also Jewish company. What the hell is it with Jews and ice cream?
They know what's good.
It's not a connection you make immediately for sure. But the Häagen-Dazs was literally, they named it specifically to make it seem like old world, been around forever, finally brought to the US. And then Frusenglaze was literally just a knockoff of Häagen-Dazs, which eventually was sued by Häagen-Dazs into oblivion. They went out of business because Häagen-Dazs won their lawsuits.
They're like, you're copying us. And they're like, of course we are. You're successful.
Yeah. But apparently they copied a little too much.
Now, who were Ben and Jerry? Were they Jewish?
Yeah.
Well, see, everybody.
I think Ben was. I don't think Jerry was.
It's like all these folks in the ice cream game.
Yeah, the ice cream game.
Big ice cream. Resist big ice cream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, this is basically, this is what I would call the Häagen-Dazs anyway, is the Starbucks of ice cream. Meaning it has that feel of like, oh no, these are expensive, high quality coffees. This isn't your schmaltzy coffee that you get at a restaurant or at
your local diner.
Yeah. This is like premium coffee, but there's one literally every corner. So it's very prolific, but it has the image of high quality. That's what Häagen-Dazs is. But at the same time, you got to give it to them. 5 ingredients still, like 45 years after they started, they're still doing 5 ingredients.
And it tastes good.
Well, but even shit can taste good.
Okay. I got some, speaking of that, got some Yellowstone coffee, which Taylor, what's his name, that started the whole Yellowstone television thing, is a fucking genius, because they are marketing this show. And I did a few weeks ago, I was looking for a good chili because we used to get some Black Angus chili. I think it was Wolf brand at our local store. And then they stopped carrying it. And it was like the only chili that I ever thought was decent. Tried a few of the other ones and they sucked. And I saw this Yellowstone and I just bought it. And the chili was good. And I realized it was attached to the television show. And then I bought their baked beans and that's really good. And again, they're all tied into the television show. And then they had coffee And I'm like, well, the K-Cups were way too expensive, but I bought a bag of just the regular ground coffee, which is Yellowstone coffee, bourbon, maple.
Of course it is.
And I will say it has a slightly too mechanical taste to it or something. Mm-hmm. A little bit of Snickers creamer makes it taste delightful, but here's the thing. Better than any air freshener or potpourri, it makes your house smell delightful.
Really?
Uh-huh. Bourbon maple coffee. It's just, I mean, I would brew a little bit just to get the scent.
Yeah, I like bourbon flavored foods, which some restaurants tend to carry a lot of those. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the ones that have bourbon.
I don't think they have actual bourbon, but they're bourbon flavored.
It's a nice cover for bad food at times.
I once tried making bourbon flavor because I bought something I should not have bought. I bought a centrifuge.
You wanted to do your own YouTube channel.
I had a little bit of money left over in my uranium fund, so I bought me a centrifuge.
As one would.
And
you're like, now what am I going to do with this?
Yeah. And I was like, well, I mean, it's a kitchen gadget, technically. And this is an industrial centrifuge. This is not like one used by a hospital that does vials.
So rather than
it's what's known as a continuous centrifuge.
So instead of like just doing a chicken breast or two, you can put like a couple chickens in.
I mean, I don't know what you're doing with your centrifuge. I'm not even going to ask, but I would not put a chicken into a centrifuge. The chicken and the centrifuge will both be unhappy about that.
True. I mean, wasn't meaning necessarily a live chicken.
I don't care whether you kill it first or not. It ain't going to be happy. But you know what a centrifuge is, right?
Yeah, it spins.
It spins at 10,000 RPM.
And then you're like up against the wall going, ah! You've been in one of them human centrifuges, like at the...
I have been. It's luckily not at 10,000 because it would be making liquid out of people at that point for sure.
One of those things at the local carnival that you regret afterwards.
Oh, yeah. Most things you regret after. And don't ever go and do one of those after eating a bunch of hot dogs.
Right. You don't want to do what Beard versus Food does and then get in one of them.
Because I can guarantee you any vomit that comes out of your mouth
just right back at you, baby.
Onto your face.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the beauty of the centrifuge. So you decided you were going to use it with some chicken.
So, no, not at all.
Bourbon flavoring.
Yeah, bourbon flavoring. So first thing I made, of course, was butter.
Oh, of course.
Because that's what centrifuges are for.
Now, was it regular butter or was it like maple butter, cinnamon butter, apple cinnamon butter?
No, it's hemp butter.
Hemp butter. Okay.
No, it was regular milk. So it wasn't milk. It was heavy cream. And it'll separate the heavy cream into buttermilk and butter. And so that butter is fantastic, by the way. Homemade butter, nothing like it. The centrifuge basically churns your milk into butter in about 10 minutes. And then I made, so getting back, so bourbon. So I started off by putting bourbon in there and seeing if I can separate out the bourbon flavor from the alcohol.
So you weren't trying to make bourbon butter, which now that I think about it.
Well, kind of. I mean, it kind of is bourbon butter. It's not, it's bourbon particulates is what I was trying to make. Separate them out from the alcohol. And two things I realized. One is the viscosity of alcohol is very different from water and milk and other things.
And it's very easily flammable.
Apparently. Luckily, I didn't have to deal with that. But it also, like, things that are dissolved in alcohol are way more dissolved than things that are dissolved in water, apparently.
Yes.
And so what I read up on is I first had to dehydrate the alcohol. And one of the ways to do that is to light it on fire.
Makes sense.
Or not dehydrate, de-alcoholize, because the water is still going to... So bourbon is part water, part alcohol with a little tiny sliver of flavoring. And so you get rid of the alcohol by burning it off. Then you get rid of the water by dehydrating it. And then with what you're left over, you can put in the centrifuge and break down into constituent parts. But by the time you're getting down to that, it's kind of gooey in the consistency of used motor oil. And it's not particularly good tasting. It's extremely bitter. And so what I realized is that things like bourbon flavor don't actually have any bourbon whatsoever in them.
It's recreating it with like a hardwood. It's recreated
to be similar in taste to bourbon, but at the level of taste of fully normal bourbon. Because if you simply concentrate the bourbon, kind of like we were talking about pure capsaicin or Red Bull 33X, or 37X, I think he made. When you're doing that with bourbon, what you get is unusable. It is disgusting and gross and not good. So, yeah, that was I guess not a failed experiment per se, but definitely a failure of taste for sure. There's no point in distilling bourbon. Now, there's certain things that taste really good when you're not distilling it, but you know what I mean, like concentrating. Yes. Certain things that are really good, like the goddamn what's it called? It's the Modena balsamic vinegar, right? You've had that.
I've had some good balsamics. Yeah, I don't know if that one particular, but
that is the balsamic
it
comes from.
Oh, yeah. Well then, yes, probably
Modena, Italy. It's where Ferraris are made. I've visited the Ferrari factory there and had dinner at the Ferrari restaurant. Very nice. In fact, I brought home a bottle of Ferrari balsamic vinegar. And somebody figured out how to do this, how to take and dehydrate the balsamic vinegar to go from being just slightly thicker than water, as normal balsamic vinegar tends to be, to being the consistency of chocolate, of hot chocolate, like it's gooey.
Ooh.
And all the flavor is in there, and it's really good flavor. So certain things you can definitely concentrate, and they taste great, like concentrated balsamic vinegar.
Well, yeah, you enhance. You keep making the flavor stronger.
It's stronger, but it's very tasty, and I think partly because it has a lot of sugar in it. But other things like bourbon, when you remove the alcohol and the water, it tastes god awful.
So you had to instead just create a bourbon flavor from scratch.
Yeah, because otherwise, the concentrated bourbon flavor is literally the flavor of burnt peat.
Yeah, and wood.
Like licking a piece of charcoal from a campfire.
Charcoal and wood. That's it. You kind of those are the hints that you get in bourbon.
Well, there's other hints in there as well. I mean, there's vanillas, there's other flavors in there, but you're only able to taste them through the magic of alcohol being able to absorb minute little tiny particles like that and then spread them around to where you can actually taste these little hints of other flavors. Whereas if you just remove the alcohol and the water, then the overwhelming taste of just charcoal, which, pure charcoal doesn't really have a flavor. I've eaten that before, but
after you were poisoned, they're like, "Oh, charcoal pills! Come on, Gene, swallow."
I have like a gallon of that in my emergency supply,
just waiting in case.
It's super fine grained charcoal powder, also great for making blackface. But
as one might do.
Well, you never know after the apocalypse happens, you may want to decide which side you're on.
If you want to be a rioter.
Mm-hmm.
Or a well-adjusted citizen.
Ain't no such thing in this country.
No, that's true. And now in Ireland, they're having riots because they want the people not like them out of the country. Here, the exact opposite.
We're having riots. I know, right?
It's very strange.
Well, Ireland is the size of New Jersey, so,
Yeah, and they're used to being pissed off at the people in charge and being violent about it.
I think what you might end up happening is the IRA might come back, except now they're not going to be in the north part. They'll be all over the country.
Wouldn't doubt it. Would not doubt it. And the case could very well be made that it's not a good idea to overtake somebody else's way of life and just think they're going to sit back and let you do it. Like, there's a lot of places in the world you can go. You don't have to go fuck with what somebody else is doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And what about all the South African immigrants? Ireland should take some of those.
No, they should close all of their borders down and say, fuck you, go elsewhere.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah, you can. Why not?
Because they need the labor.
That's what the joke is here. Oh, no. The guy in Martha's Vineyard. Oh, no, if they get rid of all the illegals, the economy here is going to crash.
Who's going to clean my house is the joke. Yeah.
The economy is going to crash. No, it's not.
Because there won't be anybody to clean the house, obviously. Yeah.
Obviously. I do want to thank Scott Gorman for, again, her show coming in with $2.50 via PayPal.
So $10 a month. Okay.
And CSB came in with $33.33, and he wants a message read, which I'm not going to read because the guy that he wants us to promote is a fucking retard. So no, CSB, come up with a different message.
I had nothing to do with this one, CSB. That was all Darren.
I mean, I don't know why you would promote this guy. He is dude, come on, wake up, CSB.
Yeah.
Wake up.
All right, cool. Is that it?
Yeah, that's sadly, this has been our whole donation segment. I mean, I hate to take that much time out of the show, Gene. It's really unfortunate that we have to spend this much time thanking people who have supported the show.
An hour, 55 minutes for the show now.
Yeah, I know. Now I don't know what we're going to do. Now people are asking.
We'll have to come up. Yeah, we'll have to abbreviate a few stories, I guess.
Yeah, people want to know who's the retard. Well, there's a long list there, I'm telling you. Yeah,
no, you can probably guess on a list of at least 20 pages who Darren thinks is a retard.
True.
Yeah.
True. The person that has single-handedly caused the no agenda ecosystem the most pain over the last year or so.
Oh, John C. Dvorak.
Right, that one. That's him.
Sense.
Yeah.
That makes total sense. Yeah.
I mean, it freaked me out the other day because I'm sitting there and I'm making art for the show and I'm kind of listening. And when you're listening and making art, sometimes you kind of drift a little bit. And they were talking about
making art. What is that a euphemism for?
For typing things into an AI to make it create artwork.
I see. Why don't you just have the AI listen to the goddamn show and just take out the middleman?
Right. Come up with an idea. And
take out the middleman.
That would be good. That would be good. And they're talking about how when it comes to copyright, well, who's responsible? And it's like, well, of course, the people that train the thing is responsible, the people that this is responsible. And they're like, even the people that put in the prompts are responsible for copyright infringement. And JCD just goes, Darren. And I'm like, whoa, what? like somebody was calling me in the room. I'm like, whoa.
Calling you out. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So it's like
you were guilty. Here's the thing. Based on old copyright law, and the only portion, not the copyright law I'm most familiar with has to do around photography, which I did for over 20 years. And with photography, the bottom line is the owner of the copyright on the image generated is the person that pressed the shutter button.
Right.
And so the copyright is not on the person in front of the camera. It is not the person processing the film. It is not any of these people. It is the person responsible for pressing the button when the button was actually pressed.
Let me ask you this.
Which led to a very interesting...
There are different types of processing. So here would be a question if somebody did...
Well, let me finish the story because it has a funny little bit.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. See, there was a lead up and I fucked it up.
Yeah, it was a lead up to something. And the funny bit was knowing that that's the way the copyright works. There was an image from a National Geographic photographer
that a monkey took.
Exactly right. And the monkey was looking at itself, looking into the camera lens. And it was a great shot, a close-up shot of a curious monkey face.
Oh.
And it appeared in National Geographic, and it won a bunch of awards. And then somebody, of course, ripped off the image,
Right.
and National Geographic quickly sued them, and National Geographic lost in court, as did the photographer, because that image was copyright free. Because animals are not capable of holding copyrights, and no human was responsible for pressing the shutter.
Man, I bet you that monkey was pissed. You know how many
Well, I
bananas
think
it
the
could have
monkey
bought?
was pissed. I think the monkey got paid with bananas, so the monkey was all right. But the person was pissed, and National Geographic were definitely pissed.
And I guess I give the guy full credit that admitted that the monkey was the one that hit the shutter and not like, oh, yeah, I hit that remotely or I activated the camera.
Well, but he
Depending at
had
the
to
time.
admit that because that made the story make the picture special, which is why the picture won the awards. Otherwise, just a close up of a monkey shot.
True.
I mean, it's not a bad photo, but it's really the story of it being self-photograph. That's what really made it special.
Now, the argument in JCD on No Agenda was like, I don't really have a thought one way or the other because I can see both sides. Where as far as what is copyright infringement, and that is one of the biggest questions right now. Like you said, if you take a photograph, you own that image. Now, if an AI scans that in whichever method is possible, is that copyright infringement? It's like it's just looking at it. It's looking at it.
Not.
I don't think it is either. Now,
no, it objectively cannot be. And I know obviously this is going to be prosecuted because people have interests in it being a copyright violation, but it's not a copyright violation because we all look at images that are copyrighted all day long.
Right.
And many of us do things that involve images in our daily lives for whatever reason. And we are subconsciously affected by all the images we're looking at. And they can't all go after you for ripping them off. And AI doesn't generate an exact copy. It generates a shitty quality copy of an image that it then uses with a bunch of other shitty quality copies of other images into a collage kind of a new image. And there again, by definition, one of the indisputable workarounds copyright is in the use of a copyrighted image in the creation of a brand new image.
Right.
So you can take you can paint a Campbell's soup can without violating Campbell's copyright and without getting their permission. If the background behind the soup can makes the image on that of the soup can be different from the actual presentation that the soup can itself is conveying. Meaning, if you're making a sarcastic, ironic, or futuristic, or other type of image, you can get around copyright legally.
Yeah, it all depends on how much something is changed. Because there was...
And the AI, unless you're literally just telling the prompt, I want a perfect image of a Campbell's soup can with nothing in front of it, nothing behind it, looking just like that can would standing by itself. If that's the prompt you give it, well, yeah, okay, now you're breaking copyright. But if you just say, give me a shelf full of soup cans, and it puts Campbell's along with a whole bunch of other brands of cans based on what it, stole from photographs, and a whole bunch of other stuff, like that image is not owned by Campbell's or anybody else. It's a conglomerate of a bunch of different things, a collage or a mix, whatever you want to call it. And if a human did it, and this is my test, if a human did what the AI is doing it, would it be copyrightable or not? Or would not copyrightable, but would it be breaking a copyright that somebody else owns? And for most things that AI is doing, the answer is no, it wouldn't be. If a human did that, it would not be considered a violation of copyright because it substantially changes the focus of the image.
Right. Now, if you hardly change it at all, like the Warhol and Prince image case, then you get smacked down because it's like, well, you can if you can obviously tell which iconic photograph your artwork was copied off of,
right?
No bueno. But you change it enough, well, then it's okay.
All he had to do was put that image like sideways or mirrored along with something else that was the focus of it,
right?
Rather than just drawing a photograph. Like drawing a photograph, for most things, is going to be enough to make it non-copyrightable. In the case of Warhol, I think that has substantially more money backing it, and therefore there's you better be further away from the original if you want to.
Well, now
tell people what we're talking about. There's a famous photograph that a photographer took of Prince.
Yeah, for a Newsweek, it looks like, and she still held the copyright on it. She did not sell the copyright to Newsweek. Right, but you could have sold it. It could have been a work for hire, and then in which case Newsweek would have owned it.
No good photographer is going to do work for hire.
No, usually not. Although people that are sometimes desperate do these kind of things.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And Warhol created a whole series of silkscreen images that were based on the photograph. And it's like, if you look at the two side by side, it's like, I mean, even the way his hair is falling is exactly the same.
Like, I've got an image that I painted. I've got a painting that's like probably a 24 by 36 of Salvador Dali that I did. That is absolutely 100% based on a self-portrait that Dali did back in the 60s. So it's taking that photograph, and then it was, it's actually, it wasn't a class, but it was basically take a photograph of something you like a lot and then paint it kind of thing. And I did it, except I did it in psychedelic colors. So it's essentially the image of Dali, except he's got bright red eyes, and there's a lot of like neon colors, like yellows and pinks and blues and stuff in there. So it is quite different from his black and white photograph, but it is obviously a copy or based on that photograph, because you can see that the details, the position, everything else is identical to the photograph. So this is, now, could I sell that? Yes. It's an original work. Could Dali Foundation go after me? Yes.
And if you sold it as a print, they could really go after you. It's most of the time, if it's a one-off, nobody's going to care. But it was interesting because in this case,
Disney. Right. Disney always cares, even if it's a one-off. There's somebody that got busted for doing a hand-drawn T-shirt with a Mickey Mouse on it.
Of course.
And they got sued by Disney. It was literally a one-off hand-drawn on the T-shirt itself.
Well, that's why I did one for the boys. Once it's like, well, as long as I'm going to get sued, may as well go down swing, and did a nice Mickey Mouse. But this was an interesting case. If you do look at the Warhol,
you got a good Mickey Mouse voice. You do.
Hi, everybody. But
that's literally Mickey Mouse right there.
Oh boy, the one the Elmo is the one I really have fun with. And
I sent you an Elmo.
That guy wasn't as good though. He was not as good. He didn't do it right. So you have to be more like Elmo says, "Go fuck yourself." And you got to go.
Yeah, that's what that video had quite a bit of that.
Yeah. Well, because really, why wouldn't you?
Why is she doing that? That would make you way more YouTube money than anything else. Just do a fake Elmo and swear.
Just do Planet Rage kind of, but with
yeah.
Should it be Elmo and Mickey Mouse? That could be like the two characters going back and forth.
No, I would much be safer going after Elmo than Mickey Mouse if I were you, but okay.
And you see the image that I just sent you. I mean, I added.
Let me look.
I added
Let me put my glasses on here and look at the image.
I added it for the no agenda.
Oh, nice. I like that.
But the first one is exactly what Grok spit out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Mickey Mouse flipping the bird, holding a joint with a T-shirt that says Disney sucks.
Now,
which is great because it's on the no agenda art generator. So, I mean, if Disney's really looking,
they'll take down the whole damn art generator.
they'll be like, hey guys,
you're done.
You got to take that down.
That thing better be hosted in some country that doesn't extradite people.
I didn't say she was crazy. I said she's fucking goofy. It's a totally different thing.
Yeah, very different. No, it's pretty good. I didn't realize that Grok would do
bad things.
No, you're not using Grok. Are you using
That was Grok. When ChatGPT won't do something, I go over to Grok, and usually Grok is okay with it. Although the
quality is usually not as good on Grok.
Neither one. I'm just a fucking master of the prompt jockeying.
Yeah.
Neither one.
You know what else could make you serious money? And this, I'm not even kidding here. Videos that are titled something like "Learn how to improve your prompts to be blah blah blah." They get millions of views. They're probably generating hundreds of dollars per video, like a 5-minute video. Because most videos are 5 to 10 minutes.
Interesting.
They're generating hundreds of dollars per video off of like actual prompt training.
You got to know.
I don't want to talk about work-related stuff, but I'm also in conversation right now with an AI company that specializes in using AI to improve your prompts.
Which is a vital service for people that are not good at learning what each of these.
So if you use AI to figure out what prompts work the best, and then you take shitty prompts and you can convert them into good prompts.
Well, and it's interesting, like with images.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because it's very easy at this point with ChatGPT to feed it an image and say, create a prompt to recreate this image. And then it's funny when it won't recreate the image because it's whether too adult, whether it is because it is copyright. Neither Grok nor ChatGPT. I was trying to recreate the Cars Candy-O album cover for a rock and roll pre-show promo thing. And it wouldn't do it. Now, when I said, well, make it a real woman instead of doing the Pop Vargas style art, it did it. So I'm guessing it's that style of art.
It's the Vargas style. Dude, everybody our age knows the Vargas style.
Right? It's like, why would you not do that? It was
one of the only non-PG rated art things back then.
Right.
Yeah.
You saw that album cover, like, whoa.
It's 80s pinup art, basically. Because you have the traditional 1940s pinup art that people are familiar with. You remove some of the clothing and the women look a little more 80s.
Yes, very looking. 80s.
Yeah. And that's the Vargas style. Yeah.
And it just, neither one would do it. And I was very kind of intrigued by that. And I didn't go, because I haven't used the one site with Flux, but I have to go back and get on there. And really what I need to do is get a machine that can handle Flux locally. And then
I am surprised you haven't justified in your head yet just getting a crazy expensive machine to do this locally.
I'm close. I am close.
And if you start putting out videos training on how to do this on YouTube, the YouTube revenues will pay for the machine. I guarantee you that.
The Mac Studio with 128 gig of RAM.
Oh, yeah, at least, yeah.
Is like 3,200 refurbed. Which isn't bad. Now, if you want the one with even more RAM, it gets crazy expensive, like, up to 10,000, which I'm not really. Now, I guess if I make enough money on this one,
I bought a $9,999 one at one point.
Yeah, well, did that make its money back for you? No,
it wasn't supposed to.
You were just I wanted it.
Disposable income.
You're like, I just wanted it. Well, do you have enough now where you could buy me one? That would be great.
Oh, God, no.
That would be great, Gene.
I can't even afford the studio for me.
That would be great, Gene, if you could just send me a Mac Pro or a Mac Studio maxed out. I mean, 157 episodes, what is this, 158, 150? I mean, you would think by now.
2 million-ish, thereabouts.
You'd think it would be perfect that it would be well worth it. I mean, you've got a bunch of Satoshi sitting in your wallet here.
Not enough for one of those.
No.
When there is, you'll let me know and I'll say, okay, I know what I'm buying. Mac Studio.
I'm like, oh, Gene, my the Umbro crash, Gene, lost all the Satoshis. Sorry, Gene, didn't mean to. Sub wallets, let's see here. Oh my goodness. You are at $499, $544. The next decent boost will put you at 500,000 sats.
Wow. That's a half of what I had lost in using that stupid provider. Literally half.
And you're like, now
I had over 1 million sats in there.
And the more this stuff goes up, I mean, 1 million is like over $1,000 now.
Is it?
Yeah, that's real money.
Let's see. Sats are at 105,823.
So everybody should boost.
That's pretty good.
If you boost, I can get a better machine and I can start making videos that actually make me money.
Yeah.
Because this show isn't doing it. CSB.
Well, but you knew that. I mean,
I know. And then people try to get you to read ad copy about retards. Come on, CSB.
You don't read a copy about retards. That's not what you
Instead,
do.
I'll just tell everybody to go to csb.lol and say kurva. Then that's good. That's all you need, CSB. But thank you for supporting the show. He's probably not even listening.
Probably not, no.
And he's like, oh, it's AI talk. Hot AI talk. But I like the concept.
He doesn't care about AI.
I like the concept of the AIs just going through, getting the ideas, making the art. I mean, really, it would be great if you could just program it to do all the work. And I think we're getting a lot closer when you have and I'm still a little freaked out. I know you've played a lot. You still have the 11 Labs account.
Yeah.
I'm still a little freaked out about going in and doing the full training. Although you can then make money by renting out your voice, but that seems a little weird as well.
Well, I made your voice.
I understand, but it was horrible. It didn't sound like me at all.
It sounded like you enough for most people.
I don't think so. I mean,
you could do a better job if you had the original, but
right. Well, if you went through, they have different levels.
Yeah. I just did it based on your voice that I recorded off our show.
Right. Give it 10 seconds or something.
And not even that much. No, it was more than that. It was probably about, I think, 3 or 4 minutes.
Well, that's a decent amount.
No, to really do it, you need at least 10 minutes.
But
10 minutes gets you an extremely close copy.
And if they, rent out your voice to somebody, that's just the weirdest thing is I don't want to be watching television and get, hey, do you know how much you have a problem getting it up?
That did the Siri voice got paid?
Like next to nothing, right? I mean, they fucked her in the ass, I thought.
Yeah, well, no, because she did it voluntarily.
And she didn't know it was going to be the Siri voice. It was just...
Yeah, she didn't know it was going to be the Siri voice, but she got paid like $500.
See, I want more than $500 for the dulcet tones that I put out there.
You're not worth more than $500.
Oh, sorry, baby, 500 and 500 a minute, motherfucker. Let me tell you.
Yeah, good luck.
I could just be. They want me. Come on, you want my voice?
Nobody wants you.
Come on, the 70, 80-year-old women who are the eyesight's gone and they have to listen to romance on audiobook. They want. Yeah, and then he looked at her as her bosom heaved.
He pillaged her.
Yes, he pillaged her with his sword. His throbbing sword. He unsheathed his throbbing sword. Yes.
Oh God, I think there might be a new career for you there.
Hey, if it pays well, it's like this is a great idea. Great idea. Get into audio
female romance novels. Yeah. The graphic kind.
The very graphic kind.
That's your future right there. I think in fact,
we've just invented it.
I would bet that you would get paid way more doing that than anything else.
Probably. Unless Larry,
because you're blind.
Unless Larry wanted to get in on it, and then we were all screwed.
Oh, well, then you'd be screwed. Yeah. It's. I think we had this conversation, or maybe I had it with Ben, my other co-host on just to goodoldboys.com. But I knew a guy that worked. Well, he actually went from working in a bank as a he wasn't a teller. He was higher up than a teller, like a bank manager or something. He went from doing that to writing female porn, basically, which is not called porn because then women wouldn't buy it. It's called romance novels.
Right.
And he would crank one out a week. And
wow.
He was making six figures doing this.
Well, I would hope so if you're doing like a book a week.
Yeah, but it's not hard. It's completely formulaic. They don't have to have a whole lot of variety. You go from gardener to fireman to...
Well, yeah, and now with AI, can't you just write it once?
Delivery guy.
Can't you just write it once?
This was like a decade ago. This was before AI. But he would be doing that. Yeah, you could probably crank out like one book every hour at this point.
Right.
Book an hour, yeah.
You know, it's like you get the original.
The thing. It's like, are books even worth paying for with AI? You just tell me a story.
I know.
And then you tell it what the story should be about.
There's going to be a very interesting time where this becomes, I think it's still okay because a lot of people, especially, our parents' age, even I think anybody older than us, probably not playing around with AI all that much. So I think there's still a place to sell this to, but in 10, 20, 30 years, why would you do anything?
Well, and this all leads to what I think was on the original Star Trek. They had an episode of a society that was like provided for by an AI, and they had everything they could possibly want, but they were all effectively idiots because the AI took care of everything, all their needs. And it they worshipped it as a god, and it was benevolent in a sense because it was programmed by their long dead ancestors to make their lives easier. But the net effect of this is people can't do anything. They lose the ability of all skill sets. Like when AI writes all your books, there's zero reason to ever be a writer.
Right, because it's already like, well, everybody else has done it. Why would I need to? It's
not a job. It's an AI activity.
Well, and if the quality is there, you can't compete.
Yeah. When AI can create art that looks as good or better than actual art masters, then we don't need that as a profession. When AI can make movies in near real time, which I know it's way slower than that right now, but it eventually make movies in near real time, we don't need Hollywood. No. We don't need that whole industry. We don't need the writers for scripts, which I'm sure right now they're already using AI for script writing. We don't need the sets designers, which most of them are virtual sets these days anyway. They're just ginormous green screens or blue screens.
That's the Hallmark way.
Yeah. And we can just get rid of that whole industry. And it's going to be just one industry after another that between what already has been going that way with the internet is going to be accelerated by AI.
Right.
And so you start looking, well, the two highly paid professions that AI can absolutely replace, because there's nothing about those professions that requires something other than a lot of memorization, is lawyers and doctors.
Those two graphic
AI
designers,
lawyers and AI doctors,
voiceover
will
artists,
absolutely be dominating over human versions.
Well, it'll make sense.
If you want to hire a good lawyer, you're going to hire an AI. You're not going to hire a human, because the human is limited in their abilities and capacities. The AI will have every law and every court case ever heard at its disposal.
It'll have to stop the hallucinations, but that's not far down the road, I don't think.
Hold up. People say that. However, I don't think you realize that what we call hallucinations in AI, in humans, we call creativity.
I mean, for law cases, that
it's
won't work.
It's literally
the
same thing.
But why would anybody pay a voiceover artist?
Some professions require less creativity than others.
Well, like voiceover artist. Why would anybody pay somebody like me $5 a minute or whatever these successful voiceover artists charge, rather than going to an AI that'll do it for $5 flat rate for an hour?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to price it right out.
Yeah,
and
totally.
CSB came in with 1818. He says, I'm listening, Kurva, but I'm not a happy Pomeranian that you refuse to promote that guy. If you want to earn money, create YouTube channel.
I don't know how many times
like
we have
successful
to
grifters.
Did I not explain to CSB already more than once that the difference between a donation and an ad is a donation is something that you make because you enjoy the quality of the programming, and in appreciation of that quality, you send a donation for something you already heard.
And I want to challenge him.
An advertisement is something that you pay money so that your message gets broadcast in the future. This show does not do advertising, period.
But I will do a challenge for him. I will read what you sent on the next show. I'll spend 5 minutes on it. If right now you go onto x.com and write a post of how great Vladimir Putin is and how much you love Vladimir Putin and how he's doing the right thing and fuck the Ukrainians, you do that and leave it up for a week, I will read what you sent in.
Hey, CSB, you can reach out to me. I'll help you write that.
Geez, like I already have that right here.
Let's screw Darren over. Let's get your 5-minute ad in here.
I've already got this down right. I've got it. It's perfect.
Uh-huh.
It's perfect. It's perfect. It's a big, beautiful message.
Big view. It's exactly right.
But this is
man.
The AIs are there's going to be uses for them.
Yeah.
Where it used to be like creating stupid little logos for small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
This already is something an AI can do.
Do you know the website, what's it called? It's like 500 something or 300 something or 100 something. It's basically a website where you can go and pitch an idea to find your artist, and a whole bunch of people will send you like their
concepts.
Yeah.
Is it like a Fiverr kind of thing or no?
The websites. It's like Fiverr-ish, but it's a little different in that you're not getting the final product for cheap. You're getting here's what I would do, or here's the image I would do kind of thing for them. So it's a little different.
CSB's turning down the offer, but it was a good one, CSB. You know it was good.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm here if you need the help.
We still send people to csb.lol because they want the yucks.
Yeah, he's good at that.
I mean, I think he has enough art by now. Wouldn't we be able to create an AI that would just create more art?
I mean, the art is pretty simplistic, so you should be able to do it pretty
in that style. He could live forever.
Yeah.
100 years from now, you could still be going to csb.lol for new artwork.
The problem with all this AI generation stuff is that you end up with something like YouTube, meaning you have a system or a repository, let's say, that has 1 trillion pieces of things in there. Yes. There's 1 trillion videos on YouTube.
Way too much.
So finding one that you will enjoy is more harder. It's like if YouTube didn't make recommendations based on past viewed material,
and oh my God, yeah,
you would never see anything you liked ever on YouTube, because the actual stream of all the crap that's uploaded to YouTube, 99.999% of it has nothing to do with things you like.
Yeah, I realize
so you
this.
Can thank the gods for the fact that YouTube actually makes recommendations. Otherwise, it'd be a waste of.
Well, there were very
nobody would ever use it.
I wasn't getting a whole lot of recommendations, and then I realized that a year or two ago, I turned off the history.
Yeah, of course.
So once I turned that back on, oh my God, did the flood come in? You watch one video of Steve in Canada doing stealth camping, and then there's 1,000 stealth camping videos.
And they're all good.
They are hilarious. They are. I mean, I love the fact that the guy, and I'm sure there are other people doing this, but I like Steve. That he acts like he's in some kind of Mission Impossible movie, like, we're gonna camp here tonight. Let me see if anybody. And then I'm looking around. He's got cameras. He did one where he built a little room inside of a bunch what on the outside looked like garbage pallets on the back of a trailer.
Oh my gosh!
Was a room, and he had a camera on all 4 sides. So he's like sitting in a abandoned parking lot, like with all the watching the TV with all, oh no, there's somebody over here. And then when there's nobody watching, he like pops out the secret door in the back. It's hilarious.
Well, Yeah, I like the stealth camping stuff too. I don't watch it very often. It occasionally something will pop up. And it probably pops up for me mostly because you're watching it.
Right. It's like, oh, well, of course he's going to want to see this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's the stealth camping revolution. It's that and Linus Tech Tips.
Yeah, Linus is
which
a lot of stuff.
The latest update on there, because they did an Apple test where he and the one guy, forget the guy's name that works for him.
Yeah.
That they both took a laptop. They chose which one they wanted. Right. And they spent their 30 days and then they did the update and they were still like, I don't know if I'll still be using this. They did the update for the 60 days and the guy that works with them was still using it as his daily driver. And then they updated it at 90 days and the guy pulls the laptop out of his bag and then he pulls a second one out of the bag and Linus is like, what's this? He's like, yeah, I bought one with my own money. It's the first fucking laptop I purchased in 14 years. It's because Windows pissed him off. Like Windows is pissing so many people off right now.
And you heard maybe you haven't heard the gaming related one. Is there was a test done recently by some independent third party thing that compared how games run on Linux now, which is essentially emulating Microsoft, to run the games.
Right.
They're not natively compiled for Linux. But this is all an offshoot of what Steam did because they created a Steam Deck, which is a Linux-based handheld portable device with 3D stuff. And it's what they found, skipping to the actual conclusion part, is that a lot of games, if not over half games, and I think it may have very well been over 50% of the games, run faster on the same machine running Linux than that machine running Windows 11.
Right, less bloat.
Less bloat. Even though they shouldn't be, because they're being run in emulation, and I know it's not quite emulation. It's better than emulation, but still, it's not natively compiled for the Linux, which is crazy that Windows 11 adds so much junk to slow down your machine.
Well, and this is what the Linus Tech Tips also came out with, was using parallels on your Mac for everything short of gaming, just pretty much works. So if you have something for work and you have to have software that's Windows, you can still run it, but you're going to have to get Parallels.
Right. And Parallels is very good. I mean, it's always historically done very well. When they compiled Parallels a few years back for the new Macs instead of, for the Intel.
Yes.
Because Intel to Intel made sense. When Macs and PCs were both Intels, Parallels didn't. It still did plenty of stuff, but it kind of felt like cheating, right?
Right.
You're not really
what are you paying for
that much.
Right.
Yeah, because you're still Intel. But now they're translating from Intel to the other thing.
Mac Silicon. Yeah,
basically. And so it's interesting. I think I'm probably going to stick with Windows for now, but I'm also running Windows 10 that's been very cleaned out.
Well, Windows 10 is over as of October, whatever
that's
date.
What they say. It doesn't matter. Whatever. I can keep running it.
Air gap it, man. Just don't put it on the internet. They're going to come for you. So, well, it's a very simple thing because my parents have a Windows 10 machine that is old enough where it doesn't have the hardware. So it's like, you think I'm buying them another fucking Windows machine? Fuck you. I'll buy them. I might just get them a refurbished M2 Mac Mini for $350. Not even for the refurbs of the old ones. Yeah.
And when you say refurb, you're talking directly from Apple.
Yes. Yeah. Which I was looking, because I was looking at the studios and it's still like they're a week and a half, 2 weeks out. Now I'm bam, I want it now. And then I found their refurb page and it's got exactly what I want. Seems like plenty of them. Because I guess a lot of people buy them and then go, well, wait, this doesn't. If you're not doing the AI stuff.
No. I can tell you what the refurbs are very easily. The refurbs is when somebody buys something
and regrets
based on
it.
Cost.
Right.
And then realizes, 16 gigs is not enough, or 32 gigs is not enough. I really need to spend the money and get that bigger. And because Apples are not upgradable,
right?
They will do a trade-in, so they'll give you credit back, not as much as you paid, obviously, but they will.
Well, if it's within like 30 days, they will, or 15, whatever it is now.
Well, but whatever, yeah.
But here's the thing: this is for the maxed out RAM. So I think a lot of with these. Yeah. I think people misunderstand how the Apple RAM works. Now, if you're not doing AI, if you're just doing video encoding and that, you're going to look at this and be like, well, I'm never using more than the 40 gig of RAM that the base unit would have come with. And I way overspent to get it up to 128. The AI models are the only things at this point that are really going to jack you into that kind of RAM because it's unified.
Yeah.
But I'm happy because that's like $500 off. And I'm like, I'm fine. Full warranty. I don't care if somebody else jerked on it first, whatever.
Yeah.
Clean it up nicely, put it in a box, and they will ship those to you overnight where.
Yes.
Like, I don't want to wait. I want it today. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, Apple. But thanks, Microsoft, for fucking around with my computer, which is the only one. And I've got here 3 computers running Windows 10. My machine was the only one that said, hey, boss, fine. You have all the hardware that you need, so you're perfect.
Yeah.
And I tried updating twice, and it just didn't work. So fuck you, Microsoft. Really? Yeah. I'm sure I could do a clean install. I'm guessing. Yeah. But otherwise, this whole thing, like... the
biggest thing is they want the security chips. They want the TPM chips to be in there.
Yeah, I get it. But you're going to piss off a whole lot of people who don't understand why, for the first time in history, you can't upgrade your Windows box to the latest version. I don't remember ever. When was the last time a Windows operating system had a level of hardware support?
It may work, slow or whatever. Yeah.
But it always was able to be installed. And if it was painfully slow, then you knew it was time to upgrade. But never once, where Apple has done this a few times, like, hey, we're not supporting this anymore, which kind of made sense when they switched from Intel because it's a totally different architecture. I get it.
Right.
But come on, Microsoft, you can't, all these machines, I would love to know how many Windows 10 machines are still running and what kind of an apocalypse this is going to cause. Because the botnets are going to be out there. Going to be using those machines unpatched, like, or you can pay.
They've always done that. That's never going to change.
It's a very defeatist attitude.
Well, it's not. I mean, it's like the first viruses for Windows came out in 1995,
when John McAfee needed some 94? Sales.
Yeah, exactly.
Surprise! Hi, everybody. Bye, McAfee.
Yeah, good stuff.
Well, back in the day, maybe.
Yeah, I'm being facetious. I don't think it's ever been good stuff.
I remember back in the day when I tried to go to ESET and then that just crashed my machine. It was the first time.
And what did he say?
And was the first time I built a brand new machine. And I think that's how I started with Bitdefender, because they were like the top 2 at that point as far as antivirus solutions. This is going back probably 15 years. And I built a brand new machine. Everything was great. I put ESET 32 on it. And it just started blue screening. Remove the antivirus. It was fine. I know. And I put Bitdefender on it, and I've been fine ever. It was fine ever since. But it was building a brand new machine, and I get it. There's also Windows adds a whole bunch of other hurdles that have to be jumped over because they don't know. There's an infinite combination of motherboards and RAM and video cards. And back then, audio cards. Does anybody still do audio cards?
And you had a limit on the IRCs you could use.
And you didn't want them to go head to head because, the IRC on your video card using the IRC on the audio card. Oh, no.
I think all those issues are mostly gone, although you can still change those manually. But I think the big issue right now for what I was looking at building a new machine because I was going to build a new PC and some kind of delayed on hold now. But
you really want a new gaming machine with like 18 monitors, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Is that all these high-end motherboards that are like $500 to $1,000 just for the motherboard?
Right.
They come with 2 PCI ports. Like the PCI bus went from having 5 or 6 of them on the motherboard to 2.
You're like, what's this all about?
Well, I know why. It's because they're correctly assuming that most people want to dedicate the vast majority of the PCI bandwidth to your video card.
Right.
I get that. That makes sense. You want
2 video cards, or 3 or 4, whatever you can fit in there.
But you can't put 3 or 4 because you only have 2 slots.
Damn, that's dumb.
And multi-video card gaming, while it hasn't completely 100% died, it's mostly dead. There's really nobody making any kind of hardware to allow you to use multiple cards for gaming these days.
No, because you're up to 24 gig of RAM in one card, so why would you need it for gaming? You don't.
32, yeah.
32 it's up to now? Damn.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. 24 was last generation.
So now it's like all it is for AI. That's if you want larger models, you need more.
Yeah. And, it's... You can. I don't know. I don't even know if you can run 2 cards, like 2 5090s at the same time, if that's even possible anymore. It may not be.
That's crazy. Those are the good old days. You could run 2 cards, and they had like a little thing that connected the 2 on the top.
Yeah, like Crossfire or whatever the other one was. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I never played games, but I always wanted those. I know.
Yeah, it's It's better. And really, like the last generation of the AMD cards is essentially that. Their top of the line card, the 7900 XTX, literally has 2 of the CPUs on it or the GPUs on it. So it's just 2 on one card. And I don't know if the NVIDIA ones, I know less about the NVIDIA ones, but other than the price, I know the price is over $2,000 now.
Well, because CUDA and AI.
Yeah. Fucking, and I bitched about this, and I still bitch on a regular basis that somebody really needs to just go after them for the gaming market and just say that's it. We're going to explicitly not have features that allow you to do any AI related crap on the card. You can't adapt it to AI. You can only use it for gaming because that's what's fucking with the price. And I don't care if they have a separate line of cards for AI.
Right. And they
shouldn't be the same damn line.
No, that's true because you're screwing over that whole gamer community. Although how big is that? I mean, I know it's still decent, but how large of a market is this now?
Here's the difference is the AI shit. People are buying those with corporate money.
True.
The gamers are buying individual cards, and there's way more gamers. But they're buying 1 card every 3 years. The AI stuff, you're like, hey, we just did a startup. We got our seed money of 1.3 million. I don't know. What do we got? Can we buy like 150 of these cards?
Right.
That's how that works. So that they're chasing the dollar. The problem is, and I think this may very well happen either with Intel or AMD, and it's already kind of happening with AMD, is the those guys are still more interested in gamers. So they're putting in features into their cards and their processors that are only useful for gaming and not useful for AI generation. So they may very well take over the number 1 spot from NVIDIA. And there's been rumors of a new AMD card that hasn't officially been, talked about, not just released, hasn't been talked about other than rumors, which is the 9090. I can't remember what the model number is, but it's a 9 series. So the current series is a 7 series, like a 7000 card. This would be a 9000 card. They've got a low end 9000 generation card out, and the rumors of the high end 9000 series card, which would have a minimum of 32 gigs of RAM, potentially more, but it presumably would be less So the current top of the line card is about $1,000 for the AMD line. So this would presumably be more than that, but way less than NVIDIA. So somewhere around the $1,300, $1,400 mark, which is still crazy money for people that don't buy gaming cards.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's like 4 Xboxes or 3 Xboxes or 3 PlayStations.
Which is why console gaming is so popular. It's just easier.
It's getting less and less popular.
Is it?
But a lot of companies are dropping support for consoles because, well, it depends on the game type, right? But it used to be you had to support both PC and console. A lot of companies are now just saying, fuck console. We're just doing PC.
Well, I was most intrigued when looking at new machines to give it the specs on something like the Apple Studio that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
And say, what would be equivalent performance in PC, right? And I know
it's more expensive.
The PCs are going to kick the Apple's ass on the AI stuff still because it is all made for the NVIDIA cards.
Yeah.
With that said, otherwise, the days where you were paying the Apple tax to get the same kind of hardware, long gone.
Well, I'll tell you what the Apple tax still exists is memory.
Oh, yeah. Well, fuck yeah.
You could buy memory for way cheaper for PC.
Fucking no kidding. The Apple, to go from 64 gig of RAM on the Studio M4 Max to 128, so you're adding 64 gig of RAM, $800 fucking bucks.
Yeah, and on a PC that's like $250.
Yeah, it's like what the hell, man? Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
64 in my laptop even.
You would wonder, it's like, why wouldn't you? You would probably sell more
Apple.
With the cost on that. I understand why Apple wants to make their money, but I think you would have happier customers who would max out the machines if they were fairly priced.
I'll tell you why you're wrong, dude.
Well, go ahead, Gene. I know that's what Unrelenting's all about. Tell me why I'm wrong.
It's me telling you why you're wrong.
I love this show.
I know a lot of people hate it, but you love it.
I'm the only one. I should donate.
You should, frankly. The reason, and you listen to every episode too, and you still haven't donated.
I know.
The reason that they can charge like that for the 128 is because the exact same reason that I just mentioned about gaming. Individuals buy the lower memory versions of the machines up to 32 gigs. Companies are the biggest buyers of machines that have 64 and 128. And companies care a lot less about the additional $800 for that cost because it's not your money. It's a company's money. So it's a different target market for the higher end Apples, the high, memory, high disk, high SSD than it is for the low end. So on the low end, they kind of have to compete with somebody that's thinking, should I get an Apple or a PC? On the high end, they don't have to compete with that because you're not getting a PC if you're looking at a 128 gig Mac.
And if you're a tech nerd,
committed to the Mac,
you're going to go a higher price anyway because you're like, I want the stuff nobody else has. I want more.
There's some people, but the tech nerds that are willing to spend the kind of money to pay the Apple tax for high end are a tiny percentage compared to the number of companies that will buy. Ben, right? My other co-host.
Dude named Ben over on grumpyoldboys.com.
That's the one. That's the Ben. He was telling me when he got his last job, this is like a year or two ago, that they sent him a Mac laptop that was like he had no idea how much it cost. So he read off the specs to me.
Maxed out.
I punched it into the Apple thing. It was maxed out. It had 64 gigs of, it was like a 15-inch MacBook Pro.
Okay, so you got your M2 Max.
Maximum RAM, maximum hard drive, maximum speed CPU. Every option was maxed out. What does he use it for?
Surfing the web.
Excel, and the web.
Right.
Yeah. There's nothing he does. And I said, well, but with this spec, you could easily run Parallels and do all your Linux shit in there too.
Right.
And he's like, no, they sent me a Dell that was spec'd out with 128 gigs of RAM.
Dual laptops. Wow, good job.
He got 2 laptops. He's that important.
They're like, this one, use your own for porn, but these 2 are for business.
Yeah, and he's too cheap to buy a nice one for his own personal. Like he's got some clanky old 4-year-old laptop for his personal that he refuses to upgrade. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. You're playing on primo hardware for all your corporate shit. One would think you'd be used to that and wouldn't want to have a crappy one for personal, but I guess you don't care.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm looking at having the Mac Mini base unit, but with 24 gig of RAM is what I've been running. For 99% of the world's population, this thing is fine.
Oh, it's more than fine.
If you are not doing high res video, if you're not running AI models and all that, more than fine. I always want more. And I mean, I think a part of it is because it takes a few seconds.
True. It's a weird combination, like an Irish guy who wants more.
I know. But here's the thing, too. I mean, I see Bitcoin is going up. I mean, I have more than enough Bitcoin to convert to buy the machine. But then what if Bitcoin keeps going up? You know, so I mean, really, I can. Then you'd be
like, man, I should not have bought that pizza for the Bitcoin.
Right. It'll be like, I bought an apple. Oh, my God.
I could have had $1 million and all I have is this old apple that was worth 10 grand.
Uh-huh. No, it's like,
wait, you got 10 grand worth of Bitcoin from donations? Holy shit, man.
Well, I mean, that's probably about accurate, but the machine isn't 10 grand. So I would still have enough. Now, if I look at my,
it's 9 grand. Sorry, my mistake.
No. See, I wouldn't get the one with 500. I mean, the insanity is
you're going to kick yourself if you don't.
So you're like, get the M3 Ultra with 512 gig.
The problem is the 4 Ultra is going to come out a week later.
I know. Let's see here.
Whatever you do, you're fucked.
I can tell you what I made.
In Ireland, you're fucked.
In the last year, in my overall crypto, it's up $8,000 from where I started the year last year.
Holy shit, man. You got either a lot of donations or Bitcoin went up a lot.
Bitcoin went up a lot. And there's a lot of this that were Satoshis that were then just moved over to the big bad Bitcoin rather than keeping them on my Lightning machine.
Well, that's probably going to get stolen at some point. Yeah.
Right, which is why it's got to be get it onto the real blockchain. But it's certainly up. And even in the last week, I transferred a little over, so that's $100. In the last month, $1,300 it's up.
Damn.
Which almost pays for like a third of the machine. So
it's not bad, man. It's not bad at all.
It's at $105,704 right now.
Wow.
That is not bad. It's nice when crypto goes up because it's the other part of that, which is, the crypto disappears and I'm like, oh shit, I could have spent the money and had something. And now I don't have nothing. So what would you...
freaking Nvidia's down.
See? Well, it's probably because of all the bombing in Iran.
Ford's down. Damn it.
What about Musk? How is it? How's Tesla?
Tesla's up.
Well,
Tesla's
there we go.
Like 25%. Yeah.
A lot of people don't know they're dropping Teslas on Iran. That was how
they are. Yeah, that's true.
Elon got rid of a lot of...
Yeah. That's one of his... when they conciliated between Musk and Trump, Trump said, we're going to start buying Teslas for the U.S. government to drop on Iran.
Yeah, we had a lot of extra inventory, so we loaded them up with explosives.
Well, it's all the damaged ones that they have to, recall.
Well, all the ones that the people
scratched up.
Right. Yeah. You had to do something with all of those.
Got to do them. To drop them on Iran.
Well, we thank everybody for hanging with us. Come back again next week.
Oh, my God. Are we done? Holy shit. That was a short episode.
Come back next week for some more Unrelenting.
I know, right?